Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Being a Programmer. I am Rajashri and today we have to see access modifiers in Java, or it is also known as access specifiers. So without any further ado, let's quickly get started. But before that, if you like the video, please do like to video, also share with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel for such a new videos. So let's start the video. First of all, what is mean by access modifier or access specifier? So look at here. The access modifier in Java specifies the accessibility or scope of a field, method, constructor, or class. In Java, we know Java is object oriented language. It is based on class and object. So that classes, constructors, methods, fields, all are accessible, or scope of the fields, methods, constructor, classes which will specify is known as access modifier or access specifier. In short, access modifier specifies the accessibility or scope of that particular field, method, constructor, and classes, etc. Okay, if we change the access level of fields, constructor, methods, classes by applying access modifiers on it. If we want to change the access of constructor, then what should we have to do? We specify that type of access modifier on it. Simply specify access modifier if we want to public access or private access of that particular constructor, then we should apply private access modifier on it. If we want to public, we apply public access modifier. If we want to protected access of particular field, then what should we do? We apply protected access modifier in it. That means we specify the accessibility of that particular field or method or that constructor or class. I hope you understand what is meant by access modifier. In Java, there are four type of access modifiers, namely private, default, public, and protected. So one by one, we study our access modifiers. So let's see. First access modifier or access specifier is private. So what is meant by private access modifier? So the access level of private modifier is only within the class. Okay. If we define any field which is private, then what happen? It is accessible only within that class in which it is defined. So private data members, methods, constructor, and constructors are accessible only within that class, and those things are not accessible outside the class. That's why we cannot declare a class as a private. Okay, I hope you understand the private access modifier. After that, we have second access modifier, which is default. So what is meant by default access modifier? The access level of default modifier is only within the package. The field which are default, those are accessible in between overall package. In that package, multiple classes are there, so you can access in that classes in between same package. Okay, it is accessible only within the package. It cannot access outside the package. Only within the package your default modifier is accessible. And if you do not specify, whenever we say the access modifier is default, if you does not specify any access level, it will be default. We see the example of default modifier, then the concept of default is clear. But at that level, you understand default modifier only accessible within the package, private modifier accessible only within the class, and our third access modifier is protected. So what is meant by protected? The access level of protected modifier is within the package and outside the package through child class. Let's see. Protected modifier is accessible only within the package, same as to default, but it is also accessible outside the package when when that particular method or that particular field is accessed within the child class. Okay, these protected modifiers are accessible only within the package, as well as it is accessible outside the package through the child class. Okay, if you do not make the child class outside the package, then it cannot be accessed from outside the package. I hope you understand protected access modifier. After that, we have public access modifier, which is our last modifier. So the access level of public modifier is everywhere. Everywhere means in complete Java's environment, your public access modifier is accessible. It can be accessed from within the class, outside the class, within the package, outside the package. That means overall Java's environment. And that your public access modifier is accessible. I hope you understand these four access modifier or modifiers in Java. First is private, which is accessible only within the class. Second is default, which is only accessible within the package, same package. Then protected is accessible within the package as well as outside the package through the child class. And public, it is accessible within the class, within the package, outside the class, outside the package. That means complete Java's environment it is accessible. We see the example. Publicly accessible or open space playground. You know, playground which is available in your society, it is accessible to overall society. Correct? It is accessible by everyone. Any person can access that particular playground. It is then we know the playground is public. But what is mean by protected? So let's see the example of protected. Um, if your parent buy a car, okay. If your parent buy a car, then what should happen? Your parent access the car, right? As well as your parent give access of that car to their child. That means it is protected. What is meant by private? Your parents bank account, your parents bank account is private because it is accessible only by your parent. It is accessible only within that person. Nobody can access without that person that particular bank account. It is known as private. I hope you understand public, private, protected and default. We see the chart of this access modifier. Sorry. So look at here, this is the chart of your access modifier. It is helpful for you to understand better this private, default, protected and public access modifier in Java. Let's see. We have some fields. Look at here. Private access modifier, we know it is accessible within the class. Okay, it is only accessible within the class. That's why we place here within the class column yes. It is accessible only within the class. But private data member, private method, private constructor are not accessible within the package. It is not accessible within the package. That means it is not accessible outside the package or by subclass or outside the package. That's why your private data member is only accessible within the class. That's why yes is written only in within the class. After that, default access modifier is here. It is accessible within the class as well as it is accessible within the package. That's why there are two fields in which your default access modifier is accessible. But this default access modifier does not accessible outside the package by subclass only or outside the package. Okay, it is accessible only within two fields, within the class and within the package. After that, protected access modifier is here. It is accessible within the class as well as it is accessible within the package, and it is accessible outside the package only by subclass. That's why three fields are yes for protected. And public, all fields are yes. Why? Because it is accessible within the class, within the package, outside the package, outside the package by subclass. Because public access modifier is accessible throughout the Java's environment, and that's why four fields are accessible or yes for public. For protected, three fields are yes within the class, within the package, outside package by subclass only. Default For default access modifier, only two fields are accessible, within the class and within the package, and private within the class only. I hope you understand the chart also. Let's see the example class A and another class private one. In which class private one we define our main method public static void main string arguments. Let's see what happened. First we create a first we see the example of private member. In this class A, we declare integer type of variable which is known as data, and that data initializes to 40, but this data variable is a private variable. It is accessible within the class only. Okay, and another thing is declared here which is method known as message, and this method also a private method. And another class we have private one. In this class we create our main method. We create the object of our A class by using new keyword, and then we print or we call that particular data variable. We want to print the data variable, and that's why we use the object of our A class which is obj. So we call our data variable through object obj.data, and then we call the method of our A class which is a message by using the object of A class. So let's see what happened. Compile the program Java C private one dot Java. So look at here. We show the message of error. Why error? Because private members are only accessible within the class, and we call these members or we want to access these members outside the class or another class. So what happened? Here is the error. First is the data variable has a private access in A. What is A? A is our class. So in class A, data variable is a private, and that's why we cannot access outside the class. And another error is message method has private access in class A. That's why these both private variable data members are does not accessible outside the class. I hope you understand, because private data members are only accessible within the class. I hope you understand what is private access modifier. Then let's see. If any access modifier does not specified before your variable or message, then it is known as default access modifier is here. Okay, I hope you understand what is meant by default access modifier, because private, public, protected are three access modifier which we have to specify before the data member, constructor, method, class, whatever. But default access modifier does not specify before particular data member. If it does not specify any access modifier, then it is known as there is a default access specifier is here. Okay, let's see. We declare this data variable as, or we specify the access of this data variable as protected. Let's see what happened. And this message method also declare as protected. and same program is here. We save the program and then compile. Program successfully compiled. Why it is successfully compiled? After that we run the program. Look at here, output is shown here 40 and hello Java. Why it is happened? Because our protected variable are accessible within the class, within the package, outside the class, and outside the package only by using subclass. Okay, we see here protected data member, and now we declare this message method as public, and this variable data variable also we specify as public. It is also accessible or runnable program. Why? Because public access modifier are accessible overall Java's environment. Look at here, our program successfully compiled, and if we run the program, we got the output also. I hope you understand the access modifier or access specifier in Java. If this video is little bit helpful for you, please to like the video, and let me know in the comment section you like the video or not. Also suggest me new topics for you. If you like the video or this video is helpful for you, please subscribe to my channel, also share with your friends, and please hit the bell icon for such a new videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned.